All right, so this magic show is all about little bubble action. What you're gonna need is a circle template. If you don't have that, you can trace around like a jar or something round, a little can of paint or something. And a light colored pencil, so you can see it better. And for bubbles to really work, you have to go over a dark area in your painting. So just make a quick little circle. That's where the bubble's gonna be. Then you're gonna need a sponge to blend it out a little bit. Get that. It's a little sponge action. And you want two areas that'll be highlights. So maybe like here on this side and over here on this side. Rinse out the brush a little bit. Dip it in like pure white. And then I'll come over here, really lightly put a glaze on there. So glaze just like thin paint, watered down a little bit, be able to see it pretty well. It'll scumble a little bit right there. And then on the other side as well, so two sides. Most of it's going to be almost invisible or at least translucent anyways. You don't want to go too thick with the white. In the center of the bubble, you want to keep that pretty empty. So now I have the white paint on there pretty well. That's good. Now I'll take the sponge and lightly haze it out. Using a corner of the sponge, barely glaze it so you can barely see it. Scumble, small strokes. Then the same thing on the other side. I'll take the sponge around a little bit, get the sharp edge of the corner. And this is just, once again, you're just kind of blending out the glaze a little bit so it's kind of hazy on the outsides. And leaving the inside almost clear, hardly any paint whatsoever. That gives like a nice translucent look to it. Get in there, almost there anyways. Then once you have that done, we'll take the white, we'll go back out and outline it a little bit. So just keep scumbling here a little bit. Make it translucent. That's pretty good. And I'll take a white paint. This is thicker now. And really clean edge going around the perimeter of it. Maybe not the entire thing, but most of it. And to get a clean edge, you want to hold the paintbrush almost perpendicular to the canvas. Don't angle it whatsoever. Come here, do the same thing on this side. All the way around. Use your finger a little bit to tap it out. Blurs it out a little bit. Tap-a-roo. Then I'll come in and I'll add some reflections in there in pure white. The sides. On the bottom, we'll do the same thing over here too. Maybe a little bit bigger though. So it's got a combination of like thick, bigger strokes, some smaller ones as well. Come in here well on the top up here. Same thing. Clean edge. Mix with the hazy part as well. I'll do the same thing on this side. You could even do like 2 dots if you wanted to. And that's pretty much it for that part. And let that dry pretty much. After you let this dry, I'll go back over it. Let's pretend it's dry. I know it's not quite yet, but that's okay. A little bit of black to it, just a titch. Some areas of it. Pure black, just a little reflections. Little lines in there, get a little more depth to it. Then after this is done, I'll come back up to here now. Bubbles have like kind of a curious color formation, so you can do a little bit more of the color in here. So after it's totally dry, come here with a little bit of the, you can do a little magenta, blues, and what have you. A little bit of color. Using a scumbling technique with a small round brush. Get color in there. We'll do a little bit more on this side. Scumble that in. So the color really helps it look like a bubble. Then I'll come in with maybe a little bit of the blue. This is cerulean blue I'm using. Come here and tap that in as well. like that, blend into the magenta a little bit. I'll do like a little bit of a glaze, so it's a little bit thinner. Scumble that in. There's a little bit of color of the blue in there as well, on this side as well. Mixing that in with the magenta. Put a little bit of color way on the inside here too. Use my finger to tap it out, so it's really subtle. Now we're getting some color in there, and I'll also use a little bit of green. Now the permanent green, you want to use that a little bit more sparingly, and that's kind of a bright color. But if you thin it out, it'll actually look pretty good. So a little bit of green in the sides here in the reflections. Come up here, so you can see how thin it is. You barely see the green. Then I'll go back in, rinse off the brush. A little more of the bright white. When you use reflections, you want to make sure that they're following the contour of the bubbles. So it's like you don't want to do like too much of an arc. On the outsides, they'll be a little bit more heavier line. The inside, they'll be almost straight up and down. And that's a bubble.